I'm more unhappy now than I was at rock bottom. Let me explain. After my breakup at the end of 2021, I started questioning everything. I started questioning my purpose, my job, my friendships, my family. I started questioning how attractive I was, if I was just doomed to be a failure. Like all of these negative things started to sink in, and I started to feel paralyzed. It was crippling. It took so much of my energy to get through my day to day, just to get through work, to survive to the afternoon. Took all of my energy. It took so much willpower just to do simple tasks. It's just doing my gratitudes, doing the hot cold therapy, just going to the gym because I didn't have to think about it. You just single-minded things that didn't take a lot of effort, or shouldn't have taken a lot of effort, but it did. It took all my energy. But now it's like 7, 8 months later, and I don't feel paralyzed. Not even close to anything that I felt in that initial first month or two. So why am I unhappier now than in a time when I couldn't even function, when I was just paralyzed all the time? The answer is simplicity. Back then, I could only I could only do so much. I was only doing simple tasks, so my mind wasn't in a million places at once. I would just do all these small-minded tasks, and then I would just get through my workday, and then my afternoon, I would just sit down with my family. I would just watch the hockey games. I would just watch a movie with them, watch a TV show with them, whatever it may be. Just sat down and spent time with them. And now that I'm okay, I'm kind of back to having my mind in a million places at once. Back then I would just be doing puzzles with my mom, and I'd be sitting there like, hey, this is nice. I'd be present. And not that I'm not present now, because I am a lot more than I was a year or two ago, but now I'm like focused on my future. I'm concerned. I'm analyzing my past because I don't fear it anymore. Back then all I did was focus on the present and how to make that moment that I was living in peaceful. There's a quote by Seneca in Stoicism that goes, "These two things must be cut away: fear for the future and the memory of past sufferings. The latter no longer concern me, and the future does not yet concern me." Back then, the past was painful, so I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to go there. I was still self-sabotaging, self-inflicting. I blamed myself for everything, for a failure. And then the future was just daunting because I didn't know what it looked like. It was the least secure in my future that I had been in a long time. The unknown is terrifying. That's why there's people that are in domestically abusive relationships and they stay, and we wonder why. But there's comfort in almost knowing the kind of pain you're gonna have to put up with that you can tolerate, versus the future. You don't know what that holds. That's a terrifying thing. But now I'm not afraid of the past. I analyze it so I can learn from it and I can move forward. In my future, I've taken huge steps, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to be a year from now, both in what I do and in where I am, like physically, geographically. So every day I need to work towards that. And because of that, I've been less present. And things have not been as simple because I'm always beating myself up over trying to get to the next step and the next stage. And whenever I reach an obstacle or I stagnate, I just get frustrated and I lose sense of what's important. Back then, at my rock bottom, I didn't really have a choice but to be present. I had a reason to be present. And now, as much as I want to be, and as much as I'm sitting here in front of you acknowledging that that's what's making me unhappy right now, it's difficult because there's nothing driving me to be present. Before I was motivated by fear. I didn't want to look at my past. I didn't want to analyze. I wasn't ready yet, and the future was daunting. So I ran from those two things, and it brought me to the present. And now there's nothing driving me to be present. I don't appreciate the moments where I'm sitting there watching the games. I don't appreciate doing the puzzles. I don't appreciate the time with my family. And I mean, I do, but not to that degree. It's like I had a taste of what it's like to be fully present with the people around you, and now I'm like only half present. And I don't think it's such a bad thing. You know, maybe it's just an example of how far I've come. You know, I don't do a lot of those simple tasks anymore. I mean, I still, work out. Hot cold therapy is here and there. My gratitudes were pretty much linked with that, so I don't do a whole lot of that. You know, I pray more. I do daily reflections, but I don't sit there and appreciate the simple things anymore, you know? And that's something that that's on me to have to go and change that. And look, I wouldn't ever want to go back to feeling paralyzed and depressed like I was. Don't get me wrong, like that was miserable. I can operate, and maybe I'm just in some privileged place where life's not that complicated right now. So maybe I'm just complaining. Look, I would never want to go back to when I was paralyzed and depressed, but I do want to appreciate those present moments that came from that. So how do I fix that? I just need to make a few adjustments. One is refocus and create better habits in doing the things that were simple, that helped me feel present in the first place. Doing gratitudes every morning. Maybe doing hot cold therapy, or just taking time in silence each day, whether that's meditation or whatever it may be. Maybe I'm just out earlier in the day. Maybe I get up at 6, 7 in the morning and I just sit outside with my cup of coffee and I just listen to the birds, or I go on a walk. No headphones in, nothing, just me with an empty mind. I hate using the term work-life balance because I think it's kind of a sham, kind of a buzzword at this point, but I think there should be a certain point in my day where I just cut it off, because I just work so like sporadically that it just takes up my whole day, and I beat myself up because I'm not doing work. So I'm not going to be where I want to be if I take off that time. But then you think about things like, what if I lost a parent in the next year, or a grandparent, or something, or my brother moves away and I never really get to see him that much. I'm going to want to cherish the time that I have now with them, and currently I'm not doing that. So I think there's definitely a balance to be struck, because I can't not do any of my work, but I think it's just being more diligent when I do work and being more effective and efficient, and then just cutting it off at the end of the day and just sitting down, not worrying about anything else, because I'll get to it tomorrow and I know that I'll be efficient, I'll be effective. My issue is that I thought that being present was going to be something that you just got to, that you crossed the finish line, or you got over the hill, like you completed the assignment and then you're just present, or you know how to be present, like it's an on and off switch. But it's not like that. Like everything else in life, it's this ongoing process. You have to consciously be aware of it all the time. And I thought that I would just cross that finish line, and I thought I had kind of gotten close, and I started coasting, and then I lost my way, and I reverted back to bad habits. Some of those bad habits that got me to where I was in the first place. So make time for those in your life. When you work hard. But when you play hard. When you have that time with your family and your friends and the people that you love and you care about in your life, be present. Be there with them. Not only will they appreciate that, but you'll appreciate that as well. Especially when the day comes where something does happen, or you don't see your friends as often, or someone moves away and you never get to see them, or God forbid you lose a family member. There's no regret, because when you were with them, you were present, and you appreciated their presence and their time, and you were blessed with those moments. It's important to do well in your work, but the relationships that we have are even more important, because you never know when it will be the last time that you see somebody or that you spend time with somebody. So cherish those moments and find that balance. prepare for tomorrow, but live for today. See you guys soon.